Eldora Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, here for a little Old Timers Tuesday, brought to you by none other than yours truly, Shaggy, here at Shaggy TV. But none of this happens without our wonderful sponsors here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, Malware Farm Management, picking up the sponsor here for the Tuesday night Old Timers series. And well, you should know the drill by now here. We play at 2 tracks every Tuesday night. We go from the dirt to the asphalt. Race number 1. Well, we're going to pretend. Man, oh man, I'm so good at that. We are going to pretend that says Eldora Speedway up at the top. And in a matter of seconds here, like magic, it's going to change, said Lucas Oil. My apologies. Got it all set and squared away, but man, we're at the Big E, one of the fastest tracks on iRacing, really between this and Port Royal, in my opinion. It kind of depends on what track state we're rolling with, but very interesting track. You want to kind of get to that top shelf, rip the high side, Right now we're watching John Rayner run around in that 302 machine. We're going to flirt with the bottom. We got the Desert Demon Terry Landis out there as well in the 161. He is your points leader coming into tonight's championship week here. With drop weeks included, Terry Landis has a 20-point lead over GJ Boydell, who currently is that man P2 on the timing charts. See, I don't think Greg's out on the track right now. No, he's not, or we'd hop around with him a little bit. But it's going to be a long shot, but Greg's got a chance to get it done here, take over the championship lead. But Terry is going to keep that 161 out of trouble, I'd imagine, or at least try to. I was going to say down there on the bottom, but there he goes, driving in front of us on that high side. He's going to rip the lip a little bit. Terry, one of those guys who loves running the bottom. And he may have to do something a little different, though, if guys are down there. So he'll test out different lanes here and there. He's one of those guys that, you know, I mean, he'll try it if he sees it's working around. He's not dedicated to the bottom. That's where he likes to be. And this man here in the 110, Kelly Wheeler, he's at the top of the charts. Anytime he gets in a small block race, got to keep your eye out on this 110. I raced last night with these guys, and I think he may have gotten into some trouble, so my apologies if you didn't, Kelly. But I believe I saw you running ahead of me, and you were definitely beating me. I think you got involved in a little bit of an accident. Maybe how I got around. Or you may have finished in front of me, but for some reason, my memory's telling me this 110 had some trouble last night. Love to make up for it in a big way here, come out and win. To open for the Old Timers Tuesdays here at Eldora. We got a couple drivers in this other room. Only one on the track right now. Roger Craig, the Bass man out there in the 747. Let's take a look here out the side of the 747. Oh, gets up and gets into that wall. Now we're getting a good view of the wall here with the Bass man. Gets stuck up there. Not sure if the right front still looks okay. It's kind of surprised that thing didn't break. Got in the wall pretty hard. Rear end might have been bent up a little bit. You see he gets a little sideways there. Don't know if he's just testing something or not handling right now after getting in the wall. You see it stepping out on him there as well. So could be over throttling though in corner entry because now Rogers seems to have smoothed that thing out. Pretty good 3 and 4. It doesn't seem like there's too much damage on that thing. Roger Craig wheels that Bicknell 358 modified chassis around. We see it turned to white up on the top of our screen. The checkered flag waves on warm-ups, and we get ready for qualifying here at the Big E, presented to you by Malware Farm Management. Let's get ready to kick off event number 1 here. Oh, that's right. Shaggy's had a slip-up. Pill draw here in the heats for the Old Timers. No qualifying. They qualify in the asphalt, or on the asphalt. So when we head over to Daytona next, we'll see the boys come out and qualify, but let's bring up the starting grid here. Starting on the inside of row number 3 in the 014. Rounding out the field here, heat number 1. P5, GJ Boydell in the 014. Outside of row number 2, and that's 79. We've got Dean Reynolds, and to his inside in the 302, John Rayner. Outside of row number 1 in the 41, we call him the librarian. That's Pat Boyce. And starting on the pole for heat number 1 in the 110, that's Kelly Wheeler as we get ready to kick this show off, get the dice rolling here. There we go. Shaggy was a little early on the camera. We'll see if the pace car dives off. It does. And You know what that means. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. Heat race number 1 underway. The 110 brings us to the green flag. A little bit of a slower start there. Guys space out. John Rayner way off the pace here early. He's going to need a mistake from the guys up front. Meanwhile, G.J. Boydell, P2 in the points right now. Needs to work his way on up. Does not want to run around in 4th here. That means he's going to start 7th here in heat race number 1. And if you're Greg Boydell, that is not what you want in that 014. As Dean Reynolds, he gets into the outside wall going down the backstretch. That 7-9 got a nice shine to it on the side. Don't know if they're going to need to rewrap the passenger side, though, as Dino got into that wall last time going down the backstretch. Big run this time as he looks to the inside of the 41. As they slide up, Dino goes up there and shuts the door, and Pat Boyce goes around after maybe a little contact between him and Greg Boydell. Greg finds himself with a big gap now. Front 2 cars in front of him running away here as Kelly Wheeler rolls through 3 and 4. 2 fingers in the air, 2 more trips around. You see here, let's see where Dino up there ripping that top shelf, looking for all the speed he can carry. Drops in line behind that 110. Floats it in. It's going to be all over the back of Kelly Wheeler, but the white flag flies. He's running out of time. Only got about 12 more seconds here to get the pass done. Can the 79 get close enough? Final time through 3 and 4. Kelly Wheeler holds the bottom. We see the checkered flag in the air. Kelly Wheeler is going to start on the front row here for tonight's main event. Finishing second, Dino, Greg Boydell, John Rayner, and Pat Boyce rounds out the field as we get ready for heat race number 2. Starting in P5 on the inside of row number 3, that's the 25 of Gary Sigelkow. Outside of row number 2 in the 75, that's the mayor, Steve Bixler. And to his inside in that 747 machine, that's the Bassman, Roger Craig. Row number 1 to the outside in the 888, that's Steve Maurer. And starting on the pole in the 161, Old Smokey. Most people call him the Desert Demon. I like Smokey. Terry and I share a similar habit. You can probably put 2 and 2 together, but the Desert Demon in the 161, he is going to be starting on the pole. Try to refresh these graphics here for you. Hopefully they fix it as the green flag is high. It's getting ready to fly. Heat race number 2 underway as Terry Landis drops the hammer and we're underway. Sorry about Shaggy here being a little delayed. You guys, your overlay's fixed. Shaggy is trying to fix his on his end as, of course, iRacing comes up, but it looks like all is right in the world, all good, as Terry Landis, your points leader, tries to pull away as the Bassman. He's battling hard to the inside. Steve Bixler now counters to the inside. We see the mayor in the 75 pull up side by side through 3 and 4. Roger Craig's going to have the momentum to the outside, so give it to the 747 right now. But Mayer is driving that thing in hard. He wants P3, but now Roger Craig, too tough to tame on the high side right now. Advantage 747, and as I say that, gets a little sideways, steps out, and the Mayer almost beats him to the line as they're side by side. Roger just jumping in that throttle a little too hard there coming off of 4, and the rear end squeal out from under you. You want to be slow and steady into that throttle. Wait till you have the wheel straight and punch it, and that's what the 747 there does. Good run out of 4. Terry Landis all up front, all by himself here in the 161. As he rolls through 3 and 4, he's set to take that white flag. One more trip around as the battle heats up for P3. Roger gets into the front stretch wall. Steve Bixler with a slide job. Roger counters down. They make contact coming out of 2. The Bassman goes around, and he's going to lose a couple spots possibly as Terry Landis takes heat race number 2, followed by Steve Maurer, Steve Bixler, and Roger Craig. Not sure if he's able to turn this thing around. He is, And here he goes, the 747, going to bring it home in P4. Gary Sigelkow rounds out the field. As we get ready to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we'll be right back after a short word from our sponsors. Stick around for your feature at the Big E. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network here. Old Timers Tuesday brought to you by me, Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, here on Shaggy TV this evening. As we sit on the front stretch, watch the guys come around, getting as close to that wall as they can. Some guys floating up there and getting into it here. So expect that wall to reach out, grab a couple people here this evening. It's only going to get worse here as we roll on and the drivers search for more grip at the Big E. But right now, Terry Landis, your point leader, he is quick time, and with a 16.81, the mare Steven Bixler P2, Gary Sigelkow rounds out that top three. Boydell and Wheeler the top five. But any guys race here, anything can happen at the Big E as the checkered flag waves on warm-ups, and we get ready to go play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. Man, oh man, one of my favorite tracks on the sim. It is going to be a good one here. Let's go ahead and bring up that starting grid here. Starting on the outside of row number 5 in the 25, that's Gary Sigelkow to his inside in the 41 machine. That's the Librarian, Pat Boyce. The Bassman, Roger Craig, lines up to the outside of row number 4. And to his inside in that 302 machine, that's John Rayner. The mare, Steve Bixler, lines up on the outside of row number 3 in that 75 machine. And to his inside in the 014, that's G.J. Boydell. Steve Maurer in the 888 lines up to the outside of row number 2. And to his inside, we've got the 79 of Dean Reynolds. On the outside of the front row, we've got old Smokey the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. And starting on the pole for tonight's main event here at Eldora Speedway, we've got the 110 of Kelly Wheeler as we get ready to go play. The pace car stays out there. We're going to go one more time around, and well, Shaggy's going to put on the correct overlay here as I put up the NASCAR one. My apologies. 110 of Kelly Wheeler will bring us down the backstretch for the final time before we go play. 25 laps between Terry Landis and a dirt retreads championship. Can he survive the storm, or can GJ Boydell make up the 20-point deficit here on championship night? 25 laps to settle it as we go play in the clay at Eldora Speedway. The green flag flies and we're underway. Kelly Wheeler with a good run there on the bottom of 1 and 2, but here comes Dino as well. Dino started third, up to second early on. Doesn't want to get into the side of Terry as Terry's in a points battle with that guy who was inside. Terry wants to go shut the door there on GJ Boydell. Oh, he gets fed a rear end from the 79 here. Now Terry's going to counter underneath. That's where the Desert Demon wants to be, I'd imagine. Loves the basement. And as we roll through 3 and 4, Kelly Wheeler leads lap number 2, but here comes Terry Landis. Gary Siegelkow in the outside wall there in the 25. You saw able to hold it together. Moved back into 10th, so it's up a couple spots, but now sinking a little bit as Terry Landis tries to find grip down there through 3 and 4. Has a lot in the middle, but on exit loses the rear end, and Terry Landis, everything he had, gave it all away. Here comes Dino. Dean Reynolds looking back to the outside here for P2. That 79 machine loves that top shelf, but he can't necessarily put it there just yet. You see in 3 and 4, you want to run the middle. He's up there in 1 and 2. That's where he's making up the ground. He loves letting that thing eat up against the wall. Big run for the 79. He's going to try it through 3 and 4. He's going to see if he can find grip up there. What does he have? Here comes Dean Reynolds. He's going to be battling for the lead here in 2 or 3 laps, maybe not that long. Mark Shaggy's words, here he comes, and he discovered the grip on the top shelf before everyone else. Will we be 3 wide coming off of 4? Is Dino going to play it smart? He cracks the throttle. 3 wide in 1 and 2 is Terry making it work on the bottom, but Dino got all sorts of speed up top in that 79 as we roll through 3 and 4. 18 laps to go. Dean Reynolds, your new man out front. Dino still feeling the pressure, though, from the 161 of Terry Landis as we try and let's go back and look at GJ Boydell. Trying to keep toe here with these front 3. Needs to go up there and put the pressure on the 161 of Terry Landis. He's going to be going home with the hardware here. So pressure's on that 014. Can he get up there? Can he start the racing up there in P2? Roger Craig ducking here to the inside through 3 and 4. And if you look below him, the librarian trying to tell the kids it's ready to take you to school here in that 41. He's down there shopping where there's low grip, but can't find the run through 1 and 2. Is he going to plant it back in there on the bottom through 3 and 4? No, he floats up this time and peek up towards the front here. Terry Landis still trying to maintain that gap here, but pull up these last couple laps, and well, Dino's been the faster guy here the majority of those laps, and was once again with that 801. And it's not significant. You're seeing not even a tenth of a second, but those hundredths of a second, they add up. And Dino just looking to pull away with this thing 1 lap at a time in that 79. Is Terry Landis, he chipped back into it there a little bit. Just a little. He's given a little bit to the 79, and then he's taken a little less back. But got to see if that battle will heat up here as the race closes. Greg Boydell looking for that final podium spot. Trying to get to the inside of the 110 of Kelly Wheeler. Greg with a big send here, looking to float up. And, well, Kelly didn't lift there, stayed in the throttle, gets into the back of the 014, and now he pays the price. And it's one where guys don't like the lift, man, but if you just crack that throttle and you turn underneath, oh, as we see Terry Landis get into the inside wall. And is that a Shaggy TV logo Terry has on the nose? Nah, I'm zoomed in too much. Gosh dang it. But Terry, I know it is. I'm almost certain I saw it. You're the man for that. Look at it down there. Shaggy TV. on board with the 161. Nice to see that thing on there, but maybe that bad luck charm for the 161, as you saw just before I caught myself on that camera, got a little starstruck, got into the inside wall, and Dean Reynolds has expanded that lead 1.4 seconds with 8 laps to go. If we don't get a caution here at Eldora, you gotta think that maybe all she wrote here for Dino's competition as we watch. That's second, third, fourth. Here comes fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Gary Sigelkow. Now we're going to wait for Dino. Here he comes. That is how spread out they are. Not looking like we're going to get a caution here. That's why I brought that up. Looks to be Dean's race here. He's just got to be safe. Rolls it out of 3 and 4. You see he's not getting too close to the wall. I mean, he floats it up around the front stretch just because you want to be up there for entry. But coming out of the corner, he's not worried about carrying all that speed. He's just taking it easy. As Terry Landis, man, it probably damaged that thing. He is 2.3 seconds back at Dino. And all of a sudden, Greg Boydell, he can apply some pressure to Terry, but it's not going to be enough just to get around the Desert Demon. He needs to make up 20 points, and man, oh man, we know if Terry brings home third and Greg brings home second, that's not going to be enough to get it done. So right now, Greg just racing for his pride right now. And that 014 as we see the 79 roll out of 4. 3 more trips around here at Eldora. Greg Boydell looks to the inside through 1 and 2. Can't pull even though as he comes out of the corner. Just not enough speed down there in the basement. Terry Landis towards the slider line to protect a little bit. 2 more trips around, and Dino's got a 2.5 second lead here at the Big E. Rolling into 3 and 4. Dino with a big smile on his face. He sees the white flag in the air. Dean Reynolds looks to bring home another win here with the dirt retreads. Has had a phenomenal season. Not your point leader because the man's been real busy this year. Hasn't been able to attend every race. But when he shows, he brings home the checkered, and Dino does it once again here at Eldora Speedway. Followed by Terry Landis, Greg Boydell, Kelly Wheeler, and Steve Bixler rounds out the top 5. Pat Boyce, Roger Craig, Steve Maurer, Gary Sigelkow, and John Rayner round out the field. As Dean Reynolds brings home the hardware here, takes home the checkers. But this man, Terry Landis, bringing home another championship, I'd imagine, in the dirt retreads. Congratulations to both these guys, as well deserved. And the man who gonna come home just short in P2, he's gonna round out that podium. But hell of a season here for all 3 of these drivers. Is I know the amount of effort it takes to be this consistent. And, well, all of them, man, able to do that here, and not easy to do at Eldora. As we give these guys a minute or 2 here to catch their breath, we'll pull them up for their interviews and get a chance to talk to them. We're going to do things a little different here. Shaggy is actually we're going to go quiet here for just a second. I want to hop down to a Discord, make sure Terry Landis is the winner. So ignore my silence here. We'll be right there with the interviews. Okay, just wanted to confirm. We're almost certain it is that 161 of Terry Landis here who won the championship here this evening. Still waiting for Greg Boydell to hop up in here. I didn't want to pull our winner up first, but if we don't see Greg Boydell in a minute or 2, that may be what Shaggy has to do. So we see Terry up there. We're going to talk to him last. We'll wait here. They got a lot going on here. It is nicer though when the drivers already have Discord open in our in the room though. It does speed things up a little bit. But I promise you, Shaggy's here. He's not going anywhere. Just waiting, but it looks like we're going to have to skip out on that. I know as soon as I pull Dean up here, Greg's going to show up. And I know that's the way it's going to work. But, Dino, Greg's being a little late to the party here, so we're going to do you first, man. I was talking about it. You're running that middle line, but, man, it just didn't have the speed there. And literally, Dino, the next lap, you go right up against the top shelf in 3 and 4. You make me look like a genius, man, and you drive by everybody. You were hooked up, man. How'd that car feel?
Well, that was about the only place it did feel really well. I was just talking to Terry a little bit, and I tell you, here at Eldora, he's cleaned my clock here several times, especially in a sprint car, because he can make that middle and bottom work. And it was awfully thin up top, and I purposely didn't go out for warm-ups because I didn't want to wear it out anymore, doing 10 laps up there and wearing it out. So I stayed in during the feature warm-ups, and then I said, you know what? I know it's going to be good in 1 and 2, but let me try it in 3 and 4 there. And then once I got the lead, I said, you know what? Let's go back to the slider, and that seemed to work. And you know me, I feel more comfortable up top. I just can't make the bottom or middle work at a lot of tracks, and this is one of them. I just don't know why. I tried trailing the brake like Clay and Anthony tell me to, and I'm okay, but I still spin coming off, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to sail it.
Well, it ended up working out, and here we're getting a pretty good view of it, Dino. Man, I swear to you, you're not going to believe this, but when I ran the 358s, man, I thought of you. And you always tell me how, I say, well, live to race another day, back out of that throttle. And I'm telling you, when I'm in the car, man, I've been trying to do it more, practice what I preach. And tonight, you had a big run coming out of 2 this lap before that we saw, and you had a chance to make it 3 wide, and you backed out of that thing, let Kelly just hold on to it. And just talk to us about it. I love the examples, being able to pull this, but just when patience wins races, man, you never know what happens to that thing if you try to drive it in there 3 wide the lap before as he's throwing up. But how hard is that to do when you're sitting in the car and be that disciplined?
Well, it works though. It's it finally took 4 years of banging in my head, I guess, because I was stubborn as anyone else. But you live another day, and I tell you what, finishing 2nd, 3rd, 8th, wherever is better than getting towed and being 1 lap down. And really, where that proved the most was, you remember last week with the sprints that we had that great race, with Jeff and Steven at Volusia. But there was a couple times if I didn't back out, I would have been probably row 17 in the stands. And you lived another day, try it again on another lap, and then get the car home and see if you can do that. And I'm finally learning that more and more, especially when you run the top. When you run the top, most guys are gonna slide up a little bit up against the wall coming out of the corners. And unless you get alongside of them totally coming out, you better back off because they're gonna pull out in front of you. And but that's the natural progression of the car, and that's what you got to do. And I've been starting to get a lot of podiums here, and and I got a little lucky there last night getting that win, and they opened 358s, finally got that monkey off the back, and felt comfortable here. So a little bit of luck on my side, but it feels good though to get some.
Well, yeah, and before I kick you out of here and let you thank everybody, Dino, I got a shout out of my own here. Got some nice camera views of this car while you're rolling around. Who's King Race Designs? This thing is hot, dude. I like this car, man.
This is my first Australian rap. It's his name was Chris. I forgot his last name, but it was a friend of Brett Wheeler's when Brett was doing the broadcast here for Coast to Coast, and he was sponsored by King Race Designs. If you remember, that's one of his commercials. And I said to Brett, Brett, who's King Race Designs? And he hooked me up, and he did 3 sprint cars and 2 modifieds for me, and I love them. They're one of the better ones. They're really nice. I got a modified just like this, where the black is purple, but it's the same exact scheme. And then I got 3 sprint cars where one tail tank and the wing is white. I got one white wing with a black tail tank, and I got a black wing and a black tail tank, and he did all variations of them. So he got out of it. Now he's doing more artwork for real life racing down under in Australia. So he got kind of out of the wraps. Matter of fact, I was one of the last wraps he did.
Well, I mean, it's easy to tell why he's doing wraps for real cars. Phenomenal, Dean. Thing looks good, but like I say, man, congratulations on the big win here. I brought it up. I tell you this every week. Who knows what could have been? If you were here every Tuesday, it seems like almost every race, man, you were in, you won, you dominated the dirt when you were here. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Well, I want to, thank you, Shaggy. And who did get the title? Did Terry get the title?
Yeah, Terry. That's why I'm going to keep him for last year. Have some fun with him.
Well, congratulations to Terry. I mean, he's fast and always a pleasure to race with. So congratulations to him. And before we thank anybody, hopefully Bill Calder's watching. I was amiss, and my apologies for not giving Bill a shout out last night, and he was watching, and I felt very bad. I was just excited. I got a win in Open 358s, and I forgot the basics. So hopefully Bill's watching right now, and good news, Roger's telling us he's getting some movement back and everything, so that's nice. Hopefully he gets home to family and friends and gets better a lot quicker. We all miss him. So, Bill, if you're watching, we're thinking of you. And just got to thank the guys from Full Throttle Motorsports for keeping this old guy fast. And got to thank you, Shaggy, for once again giving the retreads a place to showcase their talents. It's been a lot of fun running with them. I'm going to continue to do it. Well, I can because I get older every year, so I keep on staying a retread. And but always a pleasure running with them. And we'll see you again.
We'll see if this thing's still running in 20 years here. Then I can hop in, but we'll have to see. But hey,
the irony in 20 years is I hope I'm still around.
Yeah, I bet you Megan does too. She'll do a good job of keeping you alive.
There you go.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Dino, and man, hopefully I talk to you again here tomorrow night or maybe Thursday. We'll see.
All right, Zach. Thanks so much, man.
Yep, great run. And now we're gonna bring up the man. I made him wait long enough because Terry, we were waiting for Greg. Greg's a no-show. Don't see him in here, so. Now you get the spotlight, man. You may have took home P2, but you know what you did, Smokey. You brought home the hardware, Mr. Consistency. All those top fives, man, they add up. Just proves only 2 wins, but when you're finishing on the podium basically every week, well, that means championships. How'd you do it, Terry?
Exactly that. Just wanted to stay consistent and not hit the left front too much off the wall tonight, but I really banged it up pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. You did do that. We caught it on the camera. I switched to you right when you pounded that thing.
Oh, shoot.
And, we saw you lose about a second or so to Dino. Was the car handling bad after that? Because, I mean, it maybe didn't look bad from in the car, but, boy, you got that pretty good.
Yeah, it almost turned. I saw it. It turned it backwards at me. But, no, it was okay. Dean was just so fast, and I just couldn't get the rhythm back. Even if I was catching, then the track started to go away, and that was Dean's. He's set sails and he was gone.
Now, I saw you in warm-ups. We were watching you a little bit. I mean, you were flirting with the high side, but when we come out here to the feature, you went down to the basement where you were comfortable. Did you just not have the speed up there to go and try it, or just not worth the risk being that close to the wall when it's championship night?
Yeah, that's what it was. I'd rather go down low and I'm better down there than on the high side. So I started out the race in that that groove, and then the track said, hey, you got to go to the top in 1 and 2. So that's what I did.
Well, hey, Terry, man, you bring home the hardware, and let me take a look here before I kick you out. I think we're bringing home the hardware. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Something bad's going to need to happen to you, I think, to not bring that home in the ass. Or no, I'm getting 11 of 11, so I don't know what drop week's on that one.
I don't know.
Yeah, that one's going to be tricky. We're going to have to beg Patrick for a points update here in between races. But, hey, man, maybe you're going to bring home another one in asphalt. We'll be rooting for you up here. But before I kick you out of here, who you want to thank, brother?
Well, thanks to you, of course, for sure. And then Judy. She lets me do this stuff and play with cartoon cars and y'all. And then Maurer Farm Management, because without them, we wouldn't be up here and racing, and you wouldn't be up there broadcasting it. We need them guys around, and the admins too. They put up with a lot of stuff, and excuse me, and they make it worthwhile for us. They give us a place to race. And then C2C said that right. Guys back KSR. I'll tell you what, running with Blake, it's really teaching me to be patient on the throttle. Just watching him week in and week out, just ease in and ease out of the throttle, going, running down low. I'm kind of guy where I like to just hammer it down and get it sideways, but I was, racing with him and it's pretty good. And then watching John on the top side, so I got pretty good teachers right there back at KSR. And then Kreitz and Galen's homegrown popcorn. Put the word cart in, you'll get 15% off. And and good Wendy.
Yeah, and Judy. Judy, he didn't forget
Judy.
you. Yeah, see?
No.
I didn't remind him.
No.
But hey, man, I'm looking forward to talking to you again after the asphalt race. You're one of the favorites going in here. Make sure that battle with Greg's good here. Good luck.
I know, right? All right, thanks.
We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. And when we get back, I think we're going to get some news updates from the man himself about some things coming up, Roger Craig. And then we're going to get ready to do 25 laps here at Daytona in the Truck Series. So stick around and we'll be right back with more racing here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get right when we talked about it.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network here for part 2. And, well, Shaggy left that say Eldora Speedway. God, I'm so good at doing that. We're changing it to Daytona. And I've got a guest up here in the booth. We got the Bassman Roger Craig. And I think we're going to talk about some things coming up. And, well, you know, some people out here in the league that we're missing a little bit.
Yeah, so how's it going tonight, Shaggy?
Oh, man, pretty good. It was a heck of a dirt race there. Yeah, Terry Landis brings home the championship. No surprise there, but this one's going to be close here between him and Greg. I don't have an updated points yet, but they look close.
No, yeah, it's going to be pretty close, and I forgot to bring my laptop down, so hopefully you'll be able to figure it out after the race. But, yeah, this is an exciting week, championship week, and, of course, next week we have not week 13, but week 14, because they've thrown an extra week in here. So we've got a lot of cool stuff planned. The biggest one, though, is Monday night. We're going to have a Cassie Hine fundraiser. I'm not sure how many drivers are aware, but John's daughter, Cassie, she had a brain tumor and had brain surgery. And for some medical bills from stuff like that, it just unbelievable. And even after insurance, I think Cassie and John, Cassie's like 18, so Cassie and John are on the hook for about somewhere in the vicinity of 30 grand and counting. So we're hoping to have a fundraiser on Monday, similar to what we did for my names are escaping me, but the one we did for help me here. That's
man.
terrible.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, for our NASCAR buddy. He's on the executive, and this is old man.
I was drawing
thanks,
a blank.
Colin.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
apologize, Colin. This is old man syndrome. So, anyways, just similar to what we did for him. So it's Monday night. We're planning on triple 50s. You're going to broadcast because Marty is going to be on the track. So this is close to Marty's heart. It's very similar to the issues his father had, and so he'll be racing in the events. But we're going to have a 50-lap 358s, then a 360, and then the pickups at Daytona, which is always popular. So should be a great night, and you'll be on the call. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. John being one of my teammates, probably the main guy that calmed me down and let me stick around here, Roger, if we're being honest. I owe that guy a lot. So definitely I'm looking forward to doing that and hoping we can help relieve some of that financial stress there in the Hine household because, man, we know money isn't everything, but, man, it can help, and it definitely can lead to problems.
Well, and yeah, it can certainly, yeah, it's one less thing, you know, if we can just take a little bit of that load off. So it's a big load to carry. You're worrying about your daughter, and then you still got to come up with the funds. So should be a great event. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to tonight's race here. You never know. I just hang at the back and wait for all the accidents, and hopefully I can get on the podium that way.
Yeah, it's survived the mayhem. So I can't remember here, Roger. If we would go green in this whole thing, help me out here. Do you guys have a full load of fuel? Can you run this thing without stopping here when we drop the green flag, or do you have to stop?
Normally, yes. Next year we're gonna fix that and probably just go with a 50% load to at least force one strategic pit stop. But right now, usually most nights we have enough fuel. If you talk to me during the race, I can let you know better what the fuel situation is. But we probably do have enough.
All right, yeah, I'll have to pull you up here during the race. But right now, quickest guy on the track here. So hopefully that carries over, and I'm talking to you at the end of this thing, my man.
Hell yeah, I got something here I can take credit for, that as long as nobody beats me in the next few minutes.
All right, you want me to send you back down home?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Shaggy.
Yeah, and, something else, I'll tell you what, Dino, and, well, I'm a man here, so I am not afraid to admit, Bill Calder, you are somebody who is near and dear to my heart, and the fact that I did not mention you at the beginning of this broadcast, when Dino said that was like a kick in the you-know-where to me. Bill, I mean this with all my heart. Through my different troubled times, you know as well as I do, you were always messaging me, checking up on me, different things. Bill, you mean the world to me, and I cannot wait to get you back out here on this racetrack in that 325. Even if we just got you, driving the pace truck, I don't care. We need that 325 back out here. It is not the same without you, Bill. So get your butt back out here. Along with you, Bob Curtis, in that 012. Don't think I forget you guys. Bob, he had came back on the track a couple weeks ago after his health scare, but Bob, we know that's not a quick fix, something that's gonna magically heal itself. But here, we're thinking about you as well, Bob. As you're watching Mike Cramner and Tim Chapman draft around the track here on Shaggy TV at Daytona International Speedway. Shouldn't be too much longer here before the boys get ready to drop the hammer in qualifying and get ready to go out here and have some fun. Is on cue there. We wave the checkered flag. Shaggy is getting good at time flow here with the boys at Coast to Coast. My favorite league to broadcast, hands down. They gave me my start. And at the end of the day, well, they definitely have arguments and fights in here. I'd be a liar if I told you they didn't. But it's one of those fights that you 9 times out of 10 have with your little brother. Somebody who you're racing with all the time, who just kind of wore on your last nerve. It's a family in here. These guys do a great job here of putting on a good show every week. Let's pull up those qualifying times here. Shaggy needs to find his mouse location. We're gonna find it before I can. I'm telling you, it's here somewhere. This is ridiculous. You're watching a blind man try to find his mouse on triple monitors. This is crazy. Okay, so Shaggy, sorry. He's got to do that. He's got to do that. Got to do this. There we go. Okay, now everything's right in the world. Can find the mouse. As right along here, Stu right in the 131 here. Stu, a guy who we haven't had on the racetrack a lot with us this season. So let's spotlight this man a little bit. No sponsors. No love to give there to the sponsors, but just driving a Ford, giving love to the Fords here. Comes around here, gets ready to take the green flag. Or no, this is lap number 1 for Stu. Excuse me, this will count. I think I know how to read. Stu, it sounded like he backed out of the throttle to me. And I mean, the lap time would show that too. 2 seconds off. That's pretty substantial here. You're just putting the hammer down. You see the rest of the guys all pretty close. So maybe not getting full acceleration down the straights, or just crack the throttle because he wants to start at the back, which some people like to do that as well. Shaggy was never the biggest fan of starting in the back. I have to, my apologies, click on that one more time. We got to reload this overlay in. It was dropped behind the back for me. I need it over the top. Now I can see the qualifying sectors like you can. And Greg Boydell improves his lap with a 51.2 as Mike Cramner in the 70 machine takes the pole for now. Will we have anybody steal it here? John Rayner coming around. He was in the green. Where does he move? John Rayner only up to P7. Tim Chapman 5th. Pat Boyce rolls around, comes up to P3. Gary Sigelkow, your final car to qualify. Where is he going to bring the 25 home? He improves in both sectors. Gary Sigelkow moves up to P3. That 25 is always a threat here in the asphalt. He's missed a couple races this season, though, and along with a few DNFs. So Gary Sigelkow not currently in talk for the championship hunt. And actually, Gary, I'm lying. Man, if somebody held a gun to my head and said, how many races has Gary Sigelkow won in the retreads this season? Shaggy would have probably told you too. And it's actually a goose egg. Gary Sigelkow yet to win this season in the asphalt retreads. I mean, definitely has won in previous seasons, but this season not being as kind to the 25 of Gary Sigelkow is. Let's get ready to bring up that starting grid here. Rounding out the field and starting to the outside of row number 5 in that 131 machine, you've got Stu right into his inside. Your current point leader, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Outside of row number 4 in the 302, that's John Rayner. Into his inside in the 75, we call him the mayor. That's Steve Bixler. Outside of row number 3, that's Shaggy's dad in the 37, Tim Chapman. Into his inside in the 747, that's the Bassman, Roger Craig. The librarian, Pat Boyce, lines up to the outside of row number 2. Into his inside in that 25 machine, you got Gary Sigelkow. And starting on the front row at Daytona International Speedway on the outside, the man trying to take the points here tonight. Trying to sneak in and steal it from the Desert Demon. That's the 014 at GJ Boydell into the inside. 3-time winner this year in the asphalt retreads. Just couldn't, pin it together here with only running 9 races. So his 2 drop weeks were already accounted for. And He's being involved in some accidents sometimes, but if not, Mike Cramner, he's a guy that if he was here every race this year, that 70 car may be looking at some hardware here with the asphalt retreads, but oh, heck yeah, Bill. Man, you're worth every word that comes out of my mouth, and we got him watching in the hospital here tonight. We got Bill Calder. Can't wait to get you the heck out of there, man. Absolutely love you, Bill, and so happy that you're tuning in. Hopefully we can give you a great show here on championship night to close out the season. Boys roll through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. That Steve King Foundation pace car will pull off, and the drivers will be set to take the green flag for 25 laps at Daytona International Speedway. If you're out there watching, let us know who you're rooting for. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Let's go play at Daytona International Speedway. We're underway. 2x2 here early on. Pat Boyce has the chance in that 41 to drop down to the inside, but the Bassman moving up there, closing in. He's going to try to get himself right up behind that 25. Not going to allow a chance for the 014 or that 41 to weasel their way in. And right now, running the way they started, 5 rows, 2x2x2, going down the backstretch at Daytona. Roger Craig floats up a little bit, but the 41 of the Librarian does a good job of just staying between those lines, holding on to that 41. Didn't get worried about the little movement there out of the left window, and able to keep on rolling. Let's actually see here if Shaggy can find the correct camera. There we go. Let's go on board here with the Librarian. This is the gyro here. I want to do this on purpose. Now we're going to switch. You get to see the banking, just how different it is. Like, the camera can flatten it out for you. When you're patting here, you can give this truck in front of you a shove. Got to do it square. You don't want to be weaving back and forth. The guy in front of you has to be smooth as well. And if they aren't, I mean, it can lead to a big mistake, but right now running 2x2x2, guys just being patient here early on, and that's what they need to do. As we see the 37 of Tim Chapman, he bounces around a little bit, tried to follow the 41, but maybe didn't realize the Bassman was there, weaved his way back up. No harm, no foul. They continue on. John Rayner back here in the 302, just hanging out. Well, that's an absolutely terrible camera. That's not what Shaggy meant to pick. Let's ride on board. Let's pretend we are John Rayner right now, riding in that helmet cam. See those RPMs drop a little bit. That's just him cracking the throttle. Just slowly easing out of the throttle, which no big deal. You know, some guys go that way, and me personally, I've always been that way conservative a little bit. Other guys almost keep that thing pegged and drag the brakes a little bit to try to keep momentum up. There's different strokes for different folks. Everybody's got their own way. And right now, guys, I was going to say guys being patient, but we're watching them dive around a little up front. 25 floats up. The 014 comes down. Greg Boydell enjoys some side draft. See, you got that thing pulling up, but just pulled up a little too high. You want to stay real close to that 70 if you're the 014. Pat Boyce to the rescue there. The Librarian gave him one little shot. He pulls even with Mike Cramner. Right now, unless this top 3 are going to line up almost nose to tail, the bottom is where you're going to want to be. See, as some of the guys are weaving around a little bit, you want to be real smooth. If you're weaving around, it's almost impossible for that guy in front of you, to be able to latch on and help you out. As we caught the end of that, Pat Boyce, Mike Cramner go around in the first caution of the night here. 4 laps in at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to try to break this down here. We caught the end. Sorry, we're going to have to rewind here. It looks like the 41 may come down. Let's see here as we go to the Chapman Racing drone camera. Don't like that one. We'll go to this one. And Pat just trying to, hook onto the 014, but Mike Cramner home. Nowhere for the 70 to go. They all but saved it, but then they make contact one more time. Mike Cramner. Oh, he ends up getting tagged from the 75 there, right as Shaggy hit fast forward. Shouldn't have touched anything. But he's almost got this thing gathered up. I think he would have been okay. You see he's got the wheel cranked to the left. But Steve there, full head of steam, gets him in the right rear. Hard up into the 131. John Rayner with nowhere to go in that 302. And just like that, on caution for the first time here this evening. Let's see here. Who do we want to go with? You know what? I got one here. Let's bring him up. Always fun to talk to here in these, and right now finds himself up here in the top 3. Gary Sigelkow, you got a copy, man. You're sitting in P2 looking good right now.
I got you, Shaggy.
Well, man, it's one of those things I talked about. Yeah, you missed a couple races this year, and you're one of those guys, if, maybe you show up every week. You're consistent as hell when we're here on the asphalt, Gary. What are you thinking? Maybe no championship here tonight, but can we end the season with a win?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, when we're coming down to those closing laps here, I don't need your whole game plan, but what's the deal, Gary? You want to hang out in P2, or do you feel better up front? I mean, what's the deal?
Right now, I feel good following.
Well, Gary, wish you the best of luck here, brother, and I'm hoping I talk to that 25 here at the top step of victory lane. Go get him, man.
Thank you.
Gary Sigelkow right now running P2. Shaggy thinks he cut him off when he tried to say something else, but God bless his heart. Man, a few words. And then after he said that sentence, he was going to say a little more, and I wasn't ready for it, so my apologies here, but man, oh man, these guys got a long way to go, but they're, already fantasizing here where they want to be at the end. And Greg Boydell, I know, dude's cold as ice. I mean, if you asked him, probably say, yeah, I'm feeling fine out front, feeling good. But I don't think that's the truth. I really don't think you want to be up front. And I say that almost tongue-in-cheek here, because obviously you want to be up front, but at the same time, you don't want to get caught up in someone else's mess. So being out front is the safest place to be. So it's like, trying to pull the sword out of that stone. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But the pace car pulls off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Greg Boydell drops the hammer, and we're back underway as Gary Sigelkow fights his way back in line in that 25 machine. Right now, everybody's singled out here, single file. Steve Bixler was a little slow on that restart. That may have cost Mike Cramner and Pat Boyce. Those guys got to line up, or they are going to lose this front pack faster than you imagine as we watch them roll down the backstretch. Maybe close enough here, but you see those guys, they don't want to tuck out of line. They know how important it is, and Steve Bixler trying to fish his way on back up, and he's got it right at that 4/10 gap. I think there's two groups there. Going to be just fine, especially with them racing that way in front of them. Jerry Landis and the boys bouncing off each other as the chocolate water Mr. Yoo himself bringing that thing to the outside, trying to get an outside line going. And as soon as Shaggy says that, well, he got screwed up there by himself on the high side. Rayner wasn't close enough to him. Has to drop back down low. We'll see if that 161 tries it again here when he gets a run on the 37 of Tim Chapman. Gives him a little bump. Probably trying to encourage that 37 to go high. Looked like he was going to go with him there, but Tim just falling back in line, playing it safe right now as the front 5, 6, 7, 8, the whole field, single file, as we go down the front stretch at Daytona. 18 laps to go this time by. Let's see here. Let's go on board here with the mayor, Steve Bixler. You get to see what the car at the tail end of the field sees. Shaggy's going to shut up for about a lap. Let's just kind of listen to his sounds and see what he's going through, how he reacts. This is the mayor, Steve Bixler. See, just being patient here on the bottom. That's what you want to do right now if you're Steven. You can't go up here and win this thing, but you can sure as hell cost yourself a good shot. You know, just be smart. Let the guys in front of you do the dirty work and try to fish your way on through. That's what the 75's doing. Is we take a look at the 37. Him and the 161 finally duck out of line. Terry's going to do his damnedest to get to there, but Tim's going to have to make sure to do a good job, keep that thing straight. And he's going down there trying to suck side draft. He's doing that too much. You need help from the guy behind you, and that's where, Terry, he's going to kind of palm in the hand, or, head in the palm here. Is he's not going to be able to get that thing going. You're going to have to settle that thing down. Now Tim opened the door there for the 25. He's just, he's going down sucking side draft, trying to do too much. Makes it 3 wide, but just fishing a little bit, gets into the side of the 25, gets into the outside wall, and he's just going to have to wrangle that thing down, settle down, gets into the outside wall again, and now Tim's going to have to hope, he can get in, doesn't lose any draft, but that quick, we kind of saw it happen, and I know he's going to give me a hard time about it, but sometimes, you got to wrangle that car straight. You got to stare out that front mirror. You can't be looking at what's behind you or beside you. Just keep that thing straight. That's the only way the guy behind you is going to be able to help you. You see this front 6, 7 now. Bixler and Chapman have lost the draft. So it's not looking too good for them back there in the 75 and the 37 here. They got to line up. They got it back to about 9/10. They may be able to fish on back up, but that 37, like I say, got to get going. Oh, and now we got a wreck for the lead as the 25 and the 014 make contact, and we're under caution for the second time. We caught it there live. I believe Gary just coming down, trying to suck some side draft as Greg goes up. They make contact. You can't really put blame on either driver here. Let's see if we can get a more above view. This is as close to racing. See, Greg's coming up there. Gary comes down a little bit there as Greg comes up. Net code. And that's just, that's 2 guys fighting for the same spot. Gonna happen when you're drafting at Daytona. And one mistake, one little error cost your race or open the door for someone else, and we're under caution here for the second time. And who is going to be our leaders? Is Stu our leader here out front? Because Terry Landis goes in and pits, Greg Boydell pits. I think Stu does inherit the lead here. Stu also not in a Discord, or I would love to pull Stu up and pick his brain a little bit. Like I said earlier, he's a newer guy to Shaggy. Don't know him that well, but when they're not in the Discord, can't pull them up and give them love. I'm forced to give love to the man in second place because he's the highest one up on the grid here sitting in a Discord. So let's see what he's got to say. John, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, man. How you feeling in that yellow hot rod out there?
I'm nervous. It's just no, we're having a good time though. Just kidding. Yeah, we're having a good time.
Yeah, you know what's the
Yeah,
plan
lots
here?
of action going on up front there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've seen guys kind of get to that high side, but haven't really seen it work yet. John, do you think we're going to get a dominant run here on the high side before this thing's over? Do you think the bottom's where you want to be?
I think the high side is there. Just got to get the right people in line to get a good draft. There's a lot of movement right now, so hopefully as the race continues, they'll settle down a bit and get some better straight line racing, and that'll allow us to do a little bit better drafting up there.
I'm so glad you said that, John. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I've kind of touched on that. You know, if you get the wrong guys up high and you got guys kind of swerving in and out, not holding their line, not much can be done. So you think you've got what it takes there? If you can get to the high side, maybe get that 161 behind you, you think you can make it work? Hey, John, you got a copy? Let's see here. We'll send him back down. He may have been pushing another button to talk, but we got enough information out of him, I think. You know, he probably don't want to give it all away anyways. Can't really blame the man running P2 right now. Got the 70 of Mike Cramner behind him, the librarian. Back there in P4. He'll be starting behind John Rayner, so hopefully him and Pat have a little agreement worked out. They can try to get this high side rolling. If not, that 302 is going to try to drop in line here as soon as we take the green flag, I'd imagine. That's with the leader, you know, having the advantage, being able to, I mean, that's the way it should be. The leader starts the race there and the Geico restarts him. They kind of have that ability to pull out in front, and we'll have to see if John wants to just duck in line or he wants to try to get that high side rolling. Plenty of time here, though. We'll have 14 laps to go at Daytona, even if they stay green flag. If you're a fan of NASCAR, you know this has 10 minutes left in it. So plenty of time to get it done. You don't need to make your move. I mean, you can be fourth place here on the last lap and win this thing. Seen it done plenty of times. Done it. Maybe done it once or twice. You just need that run at the right time. So just got to make sure that you got a dog in the fight here at the end. You don't want to have damage in the closing laps, and you don't want to be trying to chase down the lead pack. You got to make sure that you keep in touch with that lead pack as long as you can see them. You know, within that second and a half, you're going to be able to get that draft. So you can't let them pull away. You got to keep the goal right in front of you, and the goal has to be to bring home the checkers at Daytona. Everybody wants to win here. So we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. I believe the lights are off on the pace car, so we should go back green this time. It's the 131 of Stu Wright. Only Ford in the field, actually. I just noticed that. Not that that even matters. Let's see, can I display that? No, I can't. I tried. Shaggy tried. Won't let me. As the green flag flies, Stu Wright with a good jump there. The 302 thought about slotting in, but it's the 41 there, Pat Boyce. But Pat didn't seem like he really wanted to work with the 302 there. Thought about sticking it up high. Now he's got it down in the middle. He wants to get around the 302 of John Rayner. Not sure if that's those guys, discussing that. Maybe Pat's a better car out front if they want to rotate, but that's a little odd there to see two salty dogs not working together there on the restart. But here comes the mayor in the 75 to the rescue. He's a salty dog. Can he get to that 302 and help push his team in? See guys still bouncing around on the inside, the 41 and the 70 weaving a little bit. Not too bad when you don't got guys that you're outside there as Mike tries to catch it. You just see, and then they bounce. And it was the whole way back to Tim. I mean, every single guy in that line did it. You're just trying to follow that guy in front of you, and that's where you kind of just, it's so easy to say up here. But, because I was always a better pusher than a leader myself. I still claim that to this day. I don't like to be the leader. I like to win the race at the end, pull out the pass. I'm a guy who, when I'm out front, I focus on that mirror maybe a little bit too much instead of looking out front. But when I'm behind someone, I don't weave and follow them. That's one thing I pride myself on. A good job there of holding my line, and it always speeds up the rest of the guys behind you when you do that. So I know, you think in the short term, I got to stay behind the car in front of me to draft. Well, in reality, they're weaving around in front of you. They're breaking up that window. As long as you're semi behind that rear bumper, even a third of it, when you're hitting it, it's working out for you. You're reaping the benefits. And you just got to try to keep that thing smooth. Try to work your way on through there. And we're seeing the 75 bounce around a little bit as you see the 70 of Mike Cranmer, that lime green roof bounced up. That got a little sketchy there for the 302 of John Rayner. As you see, he definitely cracked the throttle because, you see the run they lost on the high side. They're going to have to try to get it back together as now Pat Boyce looks to move on up into third. As he sneaks around for John Rayner for the moment. 11 laps to go here at Daytona. Plenty of time. Boy's still got a lot of fight left in him, so I don't think the fireworks show has even happened yet. We've just gotten some of those little teasers they like to set off about an hour before the show. You're just shooting on here, you get the kids looking up, and they're like, Mom, I want to go see the fireworks. Beats everyone in, then you buy a funnel cake. Sometimes when you're shaggy and you're a larger guy, you buy 2 funnel cakes because you ate the first one a little fast. So there's always something going on. And you're coming down the front stretch here. We're going to be coming to 10 to go. And this is when the heat turns up a little bit. And Stu Wright started this thing 10th. Up to the lead. Obviously, you start last, you get up front. Well, it's hard to not be the hard charger. In fact, I don't even know how Stu Wright couldn't come home with hard charger, but that man out front leading the way. Mike Cranmer, the snake in the grass, just hanging out. It's Steve Bixler into the outside wall. He's not going to get a caution. He's going to need some help now to catch up to the field. Tough break here for the 75. Severe damage on that right front. If we could get a angle of it here when he comes down. Actually, not as severe as I thought. There's a little net code. It's just bent in. We'll have to see if he can hold on to the draft. I could have swore I saw a fender fly off as we see the 37 get loose going down the front stretch. He's able to save it. Handful for the 37. Now he's got to tuck up in line. But I'll tell you what, if you're about to lose the draft, couldn't think of 2 better guys to line up behind his. If these 2 would work together, the 161 and the 25 would be almost unbeatable. Terry, you see, smooth as silk. Not weaving back and forth, holding that line, sucks up, proves that you don't need to bounce back and forth. Here he comes in that 161, and the chocolate water here is coming to play. John Rayner trying to build up some steam on the high side, trying to give that high line another go. The 37 of Tim Chapman slides up there. He's getting a little loose sideways there going down the front stretch. Bouncing around up there in front. Mike Cramner gets the momentum back on the inside as he drafts up with the 131. But here comes the high side. Roger bouncing around a little bit, trying to get behind that 302. This is where Tim, you don't want to follow, man. You know, you just want to hang out and hold your line. You see they're bouncing around. A good job of doing that. That was really close as Roger Craig and Mike Cramner got into each other. The Bassman swerved down a little bit. That could have been a big one here at Daytona. Oh, Tim slides down, gets into the side of the 41. There's old Roger all over the back of the 302, shoving John Rayner to the lead, and we got a new leader at Daytona with 7 laps to go. John Rayner gets a huge shove. Now he gets a tap from the 131, who lets him gather it up and cracks the throttle, and all of a sudden Roger Craig and Tim Chapman. Tim, you see the weaving back and forth, not too sure what is going on there for the 37 of Tim Chapman, but man, he is fighting that thing. Back and forth here, but able to settle it down. That is not fun to be around. Man, you see those guys in the top, they kind of had to check up, and not too sure here. I may have to go out and look at some of my Pops' wheel settings here. Bouncing around a little bit there. Comes up across the 70. We saw that coming. And big wreck here at Daytona. We're under caution for the 3rd time. As that bobbing and weaving, it'll cause problems. And really, it goes back to, let's take a look at this. I mean, starts way before this. I mean, right here, you can see, watch the lines on the track, back and forth. I mean, so much so that the 75, you see Steve Bixler, he's not getting near that. He lifts the throttle, goes up top, and I mean, that's just something you can see as a driver. I wouldn't want to be behind that either myself. And I mean, he's just trying to play for survival. Tim goes down here. He builds, goes down then below the yellow line, goes down again. And Mike Cramner, he didn't want to be behind that. He floats up and maybe comes down a little bit there. But, I mean, Tim going back and forth. Mike not really knowing what to do there. And we're under caution here for the 3rd time at Daytona. As you'll see here, Roger Craig, he should be the man out front, I believe. Or maybe John Rayner was in front of him when the caution came out, but I do believe it was Roger Craig was up front at the time of the caution. And here, when we take the green flag with 5 to go, the Bassman will be the leader. He's got the hook set, but can he reel in the checkered flag? Here's not sure if you want to be out front with 5 to go or you want to be sitting P2 here. We talked to him earlier, and well, he told us to bring him up, and ask him about gas. But man, different question here now. Bassman up front, 5 laps to go when we take the green flag here. What's going through your head, man?
Just wonder who's going to pass me and when. The fuel thing. Yeah, we got enough fuel to finish. There's 5 to go. I got 11 in the tank, so everybody's got enough fuel. All these guys that have wrecked, they'll have fresher tires than me. So I don't think it makes that much difference at Daytona, but the last couple of laps it sure could. So just debating here. We normally, because the way we don't count cautions, it'll probably be single file restart. Debating whether to make it double wide just to make it more exciting. Give me a vote here.
Yeah, you got my vote.
Okay, we're gonna go double wide then.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let her rip. Yep.
Well, hey,
okay,
Bassman, we're wishing you luck up here. I'll send you home. Good luck, man.
If I win this, I'm winning it for Willie. Okay, so hopefully
all right, he's
Willie.
Out there watching. He was just talking to me in the chat box. He's here.
at least I'll have one fan,
Yeah.
pulling for me. So there you go.
There we
Maybe
go.
I'll have one fan. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, you never know, man. How many times have you visited him? He's had a lot of visits lately.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. I might be in trouble.
Well, hey, good luck, Roger.
Okay. Oh, hey.
And then I sent him back right as he said, "Oh, hey." But hey, you live and you learn. I don't want to drag him back up here again. We'll get to talk to him. Hopefully, Shaggy doesn't give him the commentator's curse. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to him at the end of this thing. But you heard it, Willie. He's gonna try to park it up there for you, man. So we gotta pull the strength together here for that 747. See if he can't get it done. And well, Greg Boydell, currently 9th. Terry Landis 5th. That's the points battle. I don't have an updated points with drop weeks. I'm actually, you're going to hear Shaggy be rather quiet here for a second because I'm going to find the man, Patrick Spangler, and ask him if he has a points. I'm saying this as I'm typing it. Do you have a points list with drop weeks for the asphalt retreads? And we're going to see if we can maybe figure this out here before, we cross the checkers, just so we can have a little bit of an idea. But right now, let's see, Terry Landis, he's run one more race than Greg, so he's at 964. Greg has 924. But that doesn't have drop weeks, and John Rayner not too far behind either. So there are a couple guys who may be able to steal that thing. I'm not too sure. There's Patrick, he's he already had kids, but new father here again. He has another little one. We've congratulated him for that, but that leads to Patrick being a busy man, changing some diapers here, heating up some bottles, I'd imagine. I don't think Patrick breastfeeds yet. We're not there yet. But Patrick, if there's a Dad of the Year vote, send me the link. You got my vote, Patrick. Able to win in the Renegades and Father Children. That's enough for Father of the Years. As far as I'm concerned, it's wild. But we get ready to drop the hammer here at Daytona. We'll have 5 laps to play. Wouldn't be too surprised here if we get 1 or 2 more cautions, as boys are about to drop the hammer. About to throw the walkers out the passenger window. We're about to unleash all this horsepower and see who brings home the hardware here. 5 laps to go. John Rayner to the outside. The Bassman to the inside. As Roger Craig goes to that Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and we're back underway. I'm going to go back up here to the blimp camera. I'd like to watch. We'll highlight it on Terry here. We can kind of see both groups. Let's watch these boys. We're going to have to see if there's a lot of bouncing around or if they smooth and settle down a little bit. Because you see the 41 there. And like I say, when you guys go back and look at this ain't Shaggy bullying you. I know it's easy to Shaggy look like a jerk here, but I'm just trying to help. Just trying to tips and things that I've learned out there. When you're weaving around like that, nobody behind you can help you. And if you want this thing to work properly, you're going to need 3 trucks to team up. 2 can get it done, but then that last man's going to get strung by himself on the high side. So you need 3 with a big push to try to make it work. They thought about going 3 wide there, but Pat ducked it back up in the middle. Now the 25 of Gary Singlecow going to be that first guy to duck to the outside. So when he's all by himself, you're going to see him pull down to the outside of Terry Landis, like we see there. Side drag. Going to do it to the 131. Side drag. The 131 actually going to help him out. Gary kind of screwed himself a little bit there by jerking out of the window. But whenever they got that close, the 302 and Tim Chapman get together. John Rayner flipping end over end. No caution here at Daytona. Now it comes out. We kind of caught what happened there live. We'll rewind. We'll see So right now, let's take a look at those tire marks. That's a good way to see who's going. Now, John's coming down over the black. Tim may have been coming up a little bit, but, that's just two guys really fighting for the same track. As you see Tim pretty much holding his line there. You're seeing the 302 come down a little bit, but that's what happens. Guys bouncing around a little bit. Just accidents occur quick, and we're back under caution here once again. Stu Wright down pit road. Not too sure there what happened to the 131, but the Bassman of Roger Craig still leads the way, and only going to have 3 more trips around to get it done when we take the green flag. Okay, no word from the points man yet. So actually, while they're under caution here, they don't have the 1 to green yet or anything. So Shaggy's gonna be quiet here, and I'm gonna try to do a little bit of math here. I should be able to figure out the drop weeks myself. Give me a minute. Okay, so Shaggy's going to be honest with you. Doing math on the fly, definitely not my strong suit. But with the way I'm looking at this, now coming in here this evening, we had a, 45-point lead. And I don't think any drop weeks were taken out of his. No, so Greg Boydell, I think, is going to take home this championship. I really do. I think Shaggy made it seem a lot closer than it actually is here as we're coming in, because Terry would have to get 2 races wiped away with the way they do this. And Terry Landis, so he would get 78 points wiped away and 73 points wiped away. So Greg Boydell looking to be the man here as we're ready to take the green flag at Daytona. Roger Craig drops the hammer. Good jump. Terry Landis drops down into P2 there, and Tim Chapman lining up in 3rd for the moment as the top 3 single file. Pat Boyce thought about going to the high side, going to jump back downstairs. Doesn't want to leave the door open for the 014. Rides up that track a little bit, but the 41 goes up, and we're going to see if we can't get to that blimp camera here. Try to get a little bit of an aerial shot of the guys here as they roll into turns 3. 3 laps to go. Tim floats up. Greg Boydell with a big run downstairs. The 014 trying to finish with another podium here. Just ringing them off every time Greg shows up. Tim here looking to the outside. 2 to go. You see him weaving around a little bit. If he just settles that thing down, You could get a little closer to the 747, pull some side draft, allow that 41 to get to the rear end and give you a shot. But if you're weaving all around, the 41's not going to be able to get there. And you see, that's kind of what's happening. Tim got to the outside of P1 basically by himself, just using some of that side draft. Not getting much help from behind. Just not being smooth enough is Mike Cramner. Oh, Steve Bixler. Caution waves here as they were coming to the 2 to go. And we're going to have a green-white checkered when we take the green flag. I believe the first of 2 attempts. Is not too sure. It may actually be the first of 3 attempts because if it's naturally 2 laps to go, it won't be iRacing using one of their 2 extra attempts. It would just be, you know, like the normal last 2 laps of the race. Like it just fell that way because we're not counting caution laps here this evening. So not too sure if we could have another go round or not, but I'm going to find out here. So if you're out there watching, still hanging on, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. Be back with Hometown Heroes tomorrow night on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Always a good time here with either me or Marty. Sometimes you have some other guys step in, but no matter who, you're always getting, I feel like, a pretty good quality show. I mean, Shaggy may zone out sometimes here after a couple cautions, but all in all, pretty damn good show here, I think, on the Coast to Coast Racing Network every night in and night in and night out. Excuse me. Let's see here. Looks like the boys are going to double up. Ooh, so Terry Landis, not sure if he noticed that. Right front damage on the 161. Let's drop to the back of Tim. So that's what that right front's supposed to look like. See Pat Boyce's, how his is jutted out. You can see that little, it almost looks like a tear in Terry's fender there in between the 2 slots of brown. You can kind of see that. Shaggy can't zoom in anymore. Now Terry's going to give us a little better view. He drove up too far. There we go. You can see the crease. You're not supposed to be able to see that. So Terry with some right front damage. Not too sure if he knows. It's going to be tough for him to pull out front and make a pass. It's the same with Tim Chapman. I mean, he had got into it with Mike Cramner. He never came in pit, I don't believe. To that, or John Rayner, I think, actually. He had never came in pit. He held on the track position. The right front is a little beat up. Going to be hard to lead the way in a line. I also like to, if you like my new logo in the top left, I'd like to shout out a guy named Kyle there from Misfit Productions on YouTube. Hooked me up with a little tower logo. I thought that was cool, but as the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 2 laps to go at Daytona. Our first attempt here at a green-white checkered. We should have 2 more. Hopefully we don't need them. As the Bassman Roger Craig gets a good jump here. But, man, not necessarily what you want at Daytona because you're going to have a roaring pack of lions here coming. Now, both of them have right front damage. That's going to be to Roger's benefit. Terry's a little wounded. Tim's wounded. Tim's going back and forth here a little bit. Got to settle that thing down or the 302 can't get to you to help you. Oh, Gary Sigelcow and Pat Boyce. Pat Boyce ends up making the pass. Sigelcow gives him enough room. But right now, as we roll through 3 and 4, Tim strung out by himself on the high side until the 302 gets there. But if he does get there, Tim's got to hold on because he's going to get a shot. White flag in the air, final time around as we stay up in the blimp. Trucks dive off into turn 1 here. Tim goes down, gets into the side of Roger Craig a little bit. Roger hangs on. Right now, advantage low line. Top line's going to get a run coming down the backstretch, though. John tries to stay with the 37, but Tim swerving around a little bit. Tim now kind of strung out there by himself. Pat Boyce takes over that final podium spot. As Tim goes up, blocks off the 302 a little bit. They get in the wall. We go to the front here as they wreck in the back. Roger Craig, your leader, coming out of 4. Can he get it done for Willie? What's it going to look like as we go across the starter stand? Roger calls his shot for Willie. Brings home the checkered flags at Daytona. Terry Landis P2, Pat Boyce 3rd, Gary Sigelkow 4th, and I gotta think Greg Boydell brings home the points, but I have no idea, and I'm not sure if we're even gonna have an idea, to be honest with you, because this man bringing home the season finale may want to burn it down here as the Steve King Foundation pace truck is going to park it in victory lane here. We drive that truck around for the Knoxville Nationals every year as our pace truck, and now the Mike Westbrook Memorial Chevrolet takes home the checkered flags at Daytona. And I know the Brantford, Ontario native is smiling ear to ear right now, able to hold off the Desert Demon and the Librarian for, I believe, his first win of the season here in the Asphalt Retreads, but I'm going to double check. Yes, it is. And it actually may be the first win of the season for Roger in the retreads period. Didn't get one in dirt, so the Bass Man taking home the victory here tonight at Daytona. I guess Shaggy was talking to himself there. My apologies. I had a coughing fit, so I muted and then thought I clicked to unmute, but apparently I didn't. As we're just waiting for Pat Boyce and that Young Gun Creations number 41 to get himself on up here into the waiting room. It looks like he is. And Shaggy's trying to fight off another cough here. Pat, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, eventful last couple laps there, guys kind of bouncing around in front of you, but you just seemed like you were committed to that inside. Was there any thought there at trying to get to the outside of Terry Landis and make something work, or did you just kind of run out of time?
I just run out of time, and I think the inside was just a tad bit faster.
Yeah, it seemed like, it had a lot to do with you guys on the bottom, man. That's more credit to you, able to hold on and hold your line. You guys did a good job of being smooth, but we're watching you right now, man, coming down the backstretch, 2 to go. You had a bit of a scare. Can you guide us through that? You get kind of run down the track. I mean, what were you thinking? Did you think a podium's even in sight at that point in time? I mean, you're clearly forced down there, but at that point, it looked like you were kind of just trying to survive.
I was holding on, and I seen grass coming, and I thought that was the end.
Did we leave it pinned the whole time? That's what the driver in me wants to know.
Yeah.
That's right, Pat. That's right, man. You're getting ready to come to the white flag. That's what you got to do. And realistically, Pat, You crack that throttle and you back out of it, we're not talking to you right now. So big move there. I mean, you're forced down there, so any pass below the yellow line is BS at that point in time. You know, you clearly had the position, just doing what you had to do to survive. And, well, you bring that 41 home in P3. So congratulations, my man. Who you want to thank?
I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing League for putting this on, the Salty Dogs race team, Young Guns Creation, of course, the Shaggy Broadcast, and all the admins that are involved in this, and the sponsor. I think it's.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Pat. Looking forward to another season of this, man, and hopefully I'm talking to you on the top step, brother.
Yep, me too. Thank you, sir.
And now we'll bring up the man who finished P2. Terry, now I did some math on the website. They don't have drop weeks. I wanted to give you champion, but I got to be honest. I think it's Greg Boydell. But either way, man, bringing home that middle step of the podium, that's a good finish to the season. You know, you got to be happy with that. Was there any thought of trying to duck out there and pass Roger? Or did you know what we knew? You had some right front damage on that truck.
I was asking Pat, and he said it was all good. And then but I could see my fender was crunched up a little bit, so maybe he just couldn't see it. But it was still running fast.
Yeah, definitely good there in line. But you know, you pull out and try to do something by yourself. It may have been bad news, but
right.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to stay tucked in behind Roger and give him a good push.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I was going to kind of ask you about. You know, when you're running for points and you got a guy ahead of you, you know, who's not really in the battle with you, and he hasn't won this season. I mean, how much did you want to get the Bass man that first win there?
Oh yeah, I was, and right behind him and let him have it. That's awesome. He runs pretty good all the time.
Yep, and well, Terry, you know, we kind of saw it. I mean, there throughout I won't throw anybody under the bus, but we kind of know who they are. We've talked about it before. How tough is it to get that high line going, man? I saw you try to do it so many times, but when you got the bobbing and weaving, man, it's really tough to get that high line rolling.
It is. I mean, the car in front of you is weaving back and forth, and it just breaks the air up. It totally disrupts the line, you know.
Well, you know, you're able to shake up that Yoo-hoo, man, park it in the middle spot of the podium. Congratulations, Terry. Who you want to thank, brother?
Oh, my wife, Judy, for sure. And you for putting this on. And Maurer Farm Management for making it happen. C2C, giving us a place to race, and all the admins back there. Cart's Off Track Parts. Galen's Homegrown Popcorn. Put cart in the code, and you'll get 15% off. Back at KSR, and all the admins that put it together, and especially Bill. Hope he's getting a little better, and we'll be back racing with us soon.
Yeah, he was talking to us, man, in that asphalt race. So he was watching you guys put on the show tonight, and you did just that. Hell of a job, Terry. Look forward to next season, brother.
All right, Saggy. Thank you.
And now the man who, you know, talked about it, maybe jokingly, said if he won this thing, he was going to dedicate it to Willie. Well, Bassman, you bring it home. You lead those last 5 laps. Now, you know, they were pretty eventful, but you held on, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, this one's for Willie, man. That was awesome. I could pull it off. I had a good teammate behind me pushing, so hats off to Terry. Yeah, it was dicey. Your dad was, he was trying to play the spoiler. That's for sure.
Yeah. He was sucking down, bouncing around a little bit. I'll definitely be picking on him here a little bit. It got close, man. But, you know, was there any ever thought to go up and block that top line, or were you pretty much, you know, you knew you had a partner there in Terry and you were committed to the bottom?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had a partner. I was on the bottom. That's my preferred line. And so, yeah, but, you know, we were talking about fuel, gas and fuel. And I said we got plenty, but those caution laps, the fuel counts. So actually, a couple of guys ran out of fuel on that last lap, and if they would have got another caution, I might have been in big trouble too. So fuel did come figure into this one. So I think there's a few guys that were, you know, holding their breath. Some guys, when I said I had 5 laps left, some guys said they only had 4. So there's guys in worse shape than me.
Yeah, those guys probably the ones out there leading the way early, not getting any draft. And, well, just being patient. You talked about it. You just want to run at the back in the beginning. No reason to lead those first couple laps. You just need that last one. That's the most important. And, well, Roger, you had enough in the tank. You bring home the checkered flags for our friend Bill. Couldn't be a more awesome moment. That's awesome, dude. Who you want to thank?
Well, yeah, I want to thank Willie for everything he does. I've been doing the Facebook reports and the recruiting stuff, and I want him back as soon as he can come back. 'Cause I'm not having a good time. So, yeah, this one's for Willie. That's for sure. And a big shout out to the Salty Dogs guys. We have so many laughs. Your belly hurts by the end of these races, so it's good. And big shout out to Steve Maurer Farm Management, who supports us. He's always been here since day one with the retread. So big shout out to him for sure.
Yeah, definitely couldn't do it without all the awesome sponsors we have. And, man, Maurer Farm Management, definitely one of them. But congratulations, Roger, man, able to park that wonderful sponsor machine here, Steve King Foundation Pace Truck in Victory Lane. So made a lot of sponsors happy with your win tonight, too. So that's a plus. But congratulations, man. Way to end the season on a win. And hopefully there's a lot more coming next season.
Hey, yeah, and thank you, Shaggy. You've grown so much. I mean, it's just incredible that you're doing an amazing professional job, and we're pleased to announce that you're going to be with us 3 nights a week next year. So really excited about that.
Yeah, man, me too. Definitely, I'm not ashamed to call this place home. This is where I've learned to drive sprint cars, where I've learned to announce, and where I've learned to maybe calm my attitude down a little bit and behave. So for that, I owe you a lot, Roger. But, man, this moment's about you. Congratulations. Big win.
Yeah, thanks, and a big shout out to my wife as well. She's the one that lets me do all this stuff, never complaining or anything. So big shout out to her as well. And yeah, we only got 2 more nights. The season's over, and then we're into the Cassie Hine benefit, and we're going to be at Huset's next Wednesday and Thursday, trying all the different cars out there. So it's some exciting times coming for sure.
That's right. I forgot we're getting a new track next week. That's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah,
That
it
is
should
gonna
be great.
awesome.
And another announcement too. Let's make all the announcements. Chili Bowl between Christmas and New Year's. We got Chili Bowl, so 2-night event. It should be great.
Oh, man, that is going to be a good one. Well, Roger, congratulations, man. And like I say, I hope I'm doing this a lot more with you.
Yeah, for sure. And also want to mention Bob Curtis. I want to thank him too or not thank him, but thinking of him. And he's going through a lot as well. So we're a real good community here. All us senior guys. Oh, can I issue a challenge before I go?
You
And I
do
hope
whatever
this
you
gets
want.
out. I want to issue a challenge to Dean Reynolds to get his candy ass into a NASCAR car and race with us boys. He's 20 years younger than us. He's like a kindergartner. Like we're all pretty much 20 years old. We're probably almost all married before he was even born. So he's in the league. He's a kid. Get his ass. I'm challenging him next season to be out here for the asphalt stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've told him that. I don't think he runs another league late on Tuesday nights either, so he doesn't have an excuse. We got to get him in here for some of them.
No excuse. And he's got age on his side big time.
Yep. We'll see if we can message Meg and see if we can entice him somehow.
There you go. That sounds like a great idea.
Well, hey, great run, Roger, man. I always have a lot of fun with you. Congrats.
Have a great night, man.
That's the Bass Man, Roger Craig. Look, Shaggy got distracted. Hopefully he didn't disappear off our screen a long time ago. Having too much fun talking to the Bass Man here, but man, oh man, you're seeing him there take the checkered flags and never really looked back, was pretty confident there, had his teammate behind him in the 161, and Roger Craig brings home his first victory of the year. Shame it took it all season, but hey, better late than never, as they say. And with that here, we're going to wrap it up on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Thank you for tuning in for Old Timers Tuesday. Tune in with me tomorrow night for Hometown Heroes. You got Marty on the call for Thursday Night Thunder. And then we're meeting up. We better have a whole group of guys here Monday for the Cassie Hine benefit race. Didn't even know we were doing that. You know, I love, it's another thing, the selflessness of just my teammate, John Hine. I mean, we ask every now and then, but, you know, the man does a lot for us and doesn't ever really, you know, complain about anything going on in his life. And, I mean, he didn't even ask help for this. You know, we just want to do it for him as a family. And, John, hopefully you can get out there and race in that thing. But if not, we're going to put on a hell of a show for you. So, with that, on behalf of everybody in the Coast to Coast Racing League, I'm Zach Chapman signing off with Shaggy TV here. Thank you for tuning in for Mauer Farm Management Old Timers Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow night on the Coast to Coast Racing Network at around 6:45 Eastern. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. Have a good evening.